Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about the books that I want to read in October. So as you guys know, October is spooky season. Will I be reading any spooky books? Probably not, because one, I don't really like spooky books that much, and two, I feel like hardly anyone celebrates Halloween in Australia. Like, it's not autumn here, it's not fall, it's spring. Like we're heading into summer here. I feel like every October TBR that I'm gonna see is gonna be all like fall and autumnal vibes. There is no vibe to this TBR. I just feel like reading these books and I'm excited about them. So my outfit is kind of autumnal. I'm excited to talk about these books. I have some physical books. I want to read some audio books. Listen to some audio books. I have some library books. So let's just get into it. First of all, I am really determined but also very intimidated to do the tandem read for Throne of Glass. I finished Queen of Shadows last month and I really want to read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn in tandem. So if you don't know, these are the 6th and 7th book in the Throne of Glass series, but as far as I know, and please forgive me if I'm incorrect about any of this, I'm just basing this on what I have heard people say, and hopefully my memory is correct. These two books follow the same timeline, but from two different characters' point of views. So I'm pretty sure this one follows Aelin, and this one follows Kael, I think. And as far as I know, they're in different environments, I guess you could say, different areas, and this is them sharing their POVs. So a lot of people suggest to do this in tandem, as in read a few chapters from this one, then a few chapters from this one, because otherwise you'll finish this one and then you'll have to go and reread the same like time span in this one, and it's just like not the vibe from what I've heard, because this one apparently ends on a big cliffhanger and you'll just want to go straight into, is it Kingdom of Ash, I think, but you'll have to like go back and read a timeline that you already have some knowledge of, so it's just like not as fun. So a lot of people say to do tandem. It is just like a tedious thing to do, so I did go through and I have, this is my book journal, I have written out the tandem reading order. So I have little boxes that I can check off. So just to give you a little insight, you read the first 5 chapters of Empire of Storms, then you read the first chapter of Tower of Dawn, then you read chapter 6, 7, and 8 of Empire of Storms, then you read chapter 2 and 3 of Tower of Dawn. So it just goes back and forth. And yes, like I said, it is very tedious, but a lot of people say it is the best reading experience. And I think, why not? Why not have some fun with it, you know? So I have also gone through and tabbed all of the chapters that I'll be switching. So if I'm reading and I come across a tab, it means that it's time to switch books. I think I'll probably vlog the experience. I think I might read these like slowly over the month, but I guess I'll keep you guys updated. Moving on, I also want to read the 3rd book in the Magnolia Parks universe. I read the first 2 last month and I loved them so much. I fully annotated and tabbed Daisy Hates. I didn't do that for the first book because I just didn't know if I was going to love it. Like, wasn't sure how obsessed I would be. Turned out very obsessed. So I will hopefully annotate this one as well, which does mean that it takes a lot longer to get through, but the reading experience is just so much better because you really just get every detail. I'm really sad that this is the last one that has been published so far because I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm finished with this one. I think Larry Reed said that the next Daisy Hates is going to be released in December, and then the next Magnolia Parks and the final Magnolia Parks is released next year. I think like mid next year, which sucks because I'm going to be so sad when this world is over, but I'm very excited to continue my read of that series. Speaking of continuing series, it's a great segue for Fuel the Fire. This was actually on my TBR last month and I have actually started this. I'm only like 50 or 100 pages into this one. I think it's over 500 pages, so it's probably going to take me a little while, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it. This is Connor and Rose's 2nd and final book, which is sad. I've said a million times, I just don't want this series to end, and so I am definitely taking my time with it. And I also have just started The Poppy War, and I am so excited to start this trilogy and enter this world because I have heard incredible things about it. I'm pretty much a third of my way into this, and I already own the books, like the rest of the books in the trilogy. So hopefully I'll read this and then maybe even get started on the other 2, but we'll have to wait and see with just all the other books that I'm reading at the moment. I'm loving it so far. Like, the writing is stunning. The atmosphere is stunning. The storyline is very intriguing. It is very political so far, but I love political plot lines in fantasy. In real life, no, I don't want to read about that, but in a fantasy book, absolutely. I also kind of want to read, very random, but I want to read Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty. I feel like I just pick up a Leanne Moriarty book every, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months. I enjoy her writing quite a lot, and I also think that my library has the audiobook for this one, so it might be just a nice audiobook to listen to. I've never done an audiobook for one of her books Like, I've never listened to one of her books as an audiobook, but I want to see if it's a vibe. And as always, I'm always trying to work on reading books that I already own. What a concept. And the last book that I have from my own physical library is The Girls That I've Been by Tess Sharp. This is a YA mystery. I'm not sure if it's a YA thriller, but it's about the daughter of a con artist. I bought this maybe like 2 months ago and I have just been so intrigued to read it and I just haven't yet. I don't know why. It looks like it's going to be pretty short and pretty easy to read, and I've just heard incredible things about it. This was also in the like worker recommended section of my bookstore. Like in Dimmicks, it was like what our workers recommend, and this was there. So I'm assuming it's going to be quite good because I feel like you got to trust the people that work in bookstores, right? Surely. Next, I have some library books. Guys, I have become obsessed with my library. I'm not going to shut up about it, even though I've talked about it so much recently. I just forgot they existed. I've always used the library apps on my phone to download ebooks and audiobooks, and I love doing that. But I kind of forgot that you can literally walk in physically and like borrow books, and my library has such a great selection. So I borrowed a bunch out the other day. Let me run you through them, because these are obviously going to be in my TBR for this month and the books I'm going to aim to read in the next month before I have to return them. Firstly, we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I've read every book that she's released so far, and I haven't been obsessed with all of them, but I've enjoyed them. But her book, Life's So Short, is one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. I absolutely loved it. I don't really know that much about this. I've heard really great things. I've seen great reviews, and I already know that I like her writing, so we'll see how this one goes. I feel like Abby Jimenez has a great way of writing rom-coms that still have a lot of depth to them, and that's like my favorite type of rom-com. We also have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I'm so glad that I found this at my local library because I've heard some really mixed reviews and I just don't know if I want to own it yet. I loved The Love Hypothesis, but I've heard a lot of people say it's like too similar to The Love Hypothesis, which I can't tell if I'm gonna like or not, because if I liked The Love Hypothesis, maybe I'll like this one, but maybe if it feels too similar, I'll just feel like I'm reading the same book over again, which again, I liked the other one, so maybe that'll still be a good experience. But I also do love the cover, and I think it looks really nice sitting next to The Love Hypothesis, so I might end up buying a copy if I enjoy this one. We love women in STEM, so gotta support Miss Ali Hazelwood. I also found a bunch of Sarah Dessen books at my local library, so I picked one up. This is called Along for the Ride. Oh, it says it's a Netflix film. Interesting, I haven't seen it, but I've just heard a lot of hype over Sarah Dessen. I haven't really seen her books in Australian bookstores, in saying that I haven't like looked specifically. She's definitely not in like BW and like Kmart and stuff. She might be in like Dimmicks, I don't know. But when I saw her books at the library, I got really excited. I've heard that her books are just very like cute, fluffy, summery YA romances, and sometimes that's exactly what you're in the mood for. I haven't heard anyone talk about this one specifically, but apparently it's about an insomniac that meets another insomniac, and I'm assuming they fall in love. And it says, with an endless supply of summer nights between them, almost anything can happen. So I'm guessing summer romance, but like summer night romance, kind of fun. Another book that I don't really know anything about is called Clean by Juno Dawson. I've seen this book so many times in bookstores and been so like tempted to buy it so many times, but I've just heard no reviews about it, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit. I feel like the cover definitely intrigues you because like look at that, it's like rose gold, it's so stunning. But based on the back of this one, it says it's about a socialite who almost overdoses and then is taken to an exclusive rehab facility, and then I'm assuming it just talks about her recovery. But it says, as she faces her demons, Lexi realizes love is the most powerful drug of all. So based on that, I can't tell if it's going to be like a love story or if it's more so going to be her like healing from a heartbreak potentially, because it says love is the most powerful drug of all, and obviously she's trying to heal and overcome her, I'm assuming, addiction. But this just sounds really interesting. I'm assuming there are probably going to be trigger warnings of drug use and overdosing and things like that, but it just really intrigued me. And I love reading about rich people drama, and it says she's a socialite, says she goes to an exclusive rehab facility, so I'm sensing rich people drama. Obviously with some very real issues like drug use and overdose, but it is YA, so usually YA isn't like too heavy. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll read it and I can give you my thoughts at the end of the month. And then the last library book that I picked up was Caraval. Again, Australian accents making things sound so weird. I feel like I'm so used to hearing people say things in American accents because I watch so many American booktubers where they say caraval, but in an Australian accent, caraval. I don't know. This is a YA fantasy. I literally don't know anything about the plot of this, but I've just heard absolutely everyone rave about it. I've also put in a reservation for the second and third book at my library, so hopefully I'll pick them up throughout the month at some point, but I can't tell you what it's about because I actually don't know. I've just heard, yeah, great things about it, and I'm really intrigued to read it. I think the writing is supposed to be just very magical and very atmospheric, and I'm intrigued. I've wanted to buy it for the longest time, but look at the spine. I think that's the ugliest spine I've ever seen, and every book with the Australian covers looks like this on the spine, and I don't want that on my bookshelf. I simply just don't. So if I end up loving them, I'll probably buy the US covers instead, because they just have like black spines, which are stunning. And then I do have a couple of books I would love to read on my Kindle. I would love to read All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I still really want to read a Mariana Zapata book this year, and I just haven't yet. I don't really know why, probably just because they are just very long for a romance, but I love slow burn. I love found family, and a lot of her books include those tropes. And All Roads Lead Here is about a woman who has had her relationship break down, and she has moved back to like her hometown, which is a small town, I think, and she's kind of like rebuilding her life. It sounds a lot like Things We Never Got Over, and it's giving me the same vibes. I have started it, but definitely nowhere near finished yet. But like 500 to 600 pages for a romance book just feels like a lot, but I am really intrigued to read her writing, and I'm just really determined to finish a Mariana Zapata book, because I tried to read From Lukov with Love and I didn't finish it, and I have no reason why. Like, I actually was enjoying it, I just got distracted. Sometimes I just forget that I have books on my Kindle because I don't physically see them, so hopefully I'll actually finish that one this month. And then I also just recently downloaded Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. I think that's how you say her name. Indigo Ridge is part of the Edens series. I don't know if it's trilogy or what it is, but it is the first book in the Edens series, and I've heard amazing things about that series and about this author in general, and the Eden series, and I don't know if other books from her as well just got put on Kindle Unlimited. I'm assuming they're still on there if you guys want to download them, but they never used to be on Kindle Unlimited, so a few weeks ago when they were put there, I downloaded them all straight away because I was like, I've been wanting to read these books for ages, but I just didn't want to buy them. But now that they're on Kindle Unlimited, I have them on my Kindle, and I'm really intrigued to try her writing as well, because I know Larry Reads like loves her books. I don't feel like I have super similar reading style, reading taste to Larry Reads, but I really love her videos, and I really love just like hearing what she has to say about books. I do trust her, and I do really like her recommendations, but I don't feel like I agree with all of her recommendations. Like, there's been a few that I've read from her recommendations that I haven't enjoyed very much, so I don't think we always have the same reading taste, but I'm doing it for her. I'm gonna try Devney Perry this month, and Mariana Zapata for you, Larry. She's not watching, but this is for you, Larry. But those are all the books that I'm hoping to read this month. There's quite a few. I probably won't get through all of them, but I'm intrigued to see which ones I do get to. I'm really excited about all of them, so I really want to read all of them, but I just don't know. Last month I read literally 2 romance books, and there are quite a few romance on this list, so we'll see where my mood leads me. But we have some mystery, we have some fantasy, we have some romance, we have some just like YA fiction. Surely this is a good selection for my brain. But I would love to know what's on your TBR for the month. Please leave me a comment below and let me know, because maybe you'll convince me that I need to read that instead of the ones that I just talked about. But I love you guys, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Goodbye.